One of the biggest mistakes you can make when updating the operating system of young minds is failing to understand how the brain of a young person develops. When a young person's mind is developing, particularly in the adolescent phases, the areas of the brain that are responsible for maturing desires, growth, the appreciation of visual stimuli, and basically the areas of the brain that is responsible for moving the body from childhood to adulthood, that part of the brain develops well in advance, way before the area of the brain that is responsible for reasoning skills, decision making, and for regulating emotions. What this basically means, because of how the brain develops, young people are still making decisions like a child, even though they are rocking an adult body. This is why you often ask young people questions like, why did you do that? What on earth were you thinking in that particular moment? What made you think that that would be a good idea? And these questions are often associated with adolescent young people. However, now that we understand some of the brain function and dynamics of young people, how valuable would it be if you could provide a judgment-free zone where young people could exercise their developing frontal lobe mental powers? I work with a lot of young people, and when a young person is responding in a seemingly disrespectful way, it is not always the case that that is a disrespectful child. Sometimes it's exactly the case that the child is just blatantly ill-mannered and disrespectful. But more often than not, the seeming disrespect is sometimes just a young person's way of exercising their new interrogation skills, their new reasoning skills, their new negotiation skills, and their new assertiveness skills. These are all skills that we actually want our young people to develop in order for them to be effective functioning adults, right? But you might be thinking, why don't they test out these new skills on person A? Why am I always the unfortunate test subject? I hear you and I fully understand your dilemma. But consider it like this. My 1-year-old is an absolute gem of a unicorn princess whenever she's out with me. Whenever she's by grandma's or whenever she's babysat by a friend, the feedback is always, she's wonderful. I will babysit for you anytime. I mean it. Anytime. But when this same gem of a unicorn princess is out with mum, or whenever she walks back through the front doors of our home, she turns into the cousin of Crash Bandicoot, pushing boundaries at every opportunity. Leave that, that's Kitty Poo. You don't want to be eating that. Why does that happen? Because mummy and home are the places my 1-year-old feels the safest to exercise her developing mental powers. In the same way, you're the one getting the boundary pushes. You're the one getting the answering back. You're the one getting, nah, forget your way. I'm doing it my way. This happens because you're the one your young person consciously or subconsciously feels safest to exercise their developing mental powers. Beyond the seeming disrespect is actually a vote of confidence in the safety you are providing for their mental development. It is important and essential to establish clear boundaries. But within those boundaries, if you can provide a judgment-free zone where young developing minds can exercise their developing mental powers, this is how we update the operating system of young minds. This is how we add value to their lives. This is how we create a cultural narrative where we learn to live.